Welcome to PowerTalk, where we explore the real-world challenges and solutions that sharpen our industry. I am David Tchiwamba, the product manager for underground power cable here at Marmon Utility, and I'm excited to host today's discussion. In this episode, we are spotlighting a feature that defines our underground cable in the field, free strip insulation shield. This isn't just a nice to have, it is one of the most critical reasons why linemen choose Kerite as their preferred cable to work with. Free stripping means faster prep, cleaner termination, and fewer headaches for the crew doing the work. It is a direct result of our design philosophy to put installation first. Joining me today to explore what makes this feature possible and what it says about the way we build our cables are Michael Rainville, our senior product engineer at Marmon Utility, Matthew Kubikowski, our design engineer for underground power cable, and Sean Curran, our regional sales manager for underground solution in the South region. Okay, let's get into it. So let's start with Sean. Sean, what is free stripping for you in your region?
Thank you, David. Yes, free stripping in terms of the lineman or splicer, if you're an underground or overhead guy, you're in the field. It's concentrating on the insulation shield. You're below the metallic shield, you're doing your cutbacks, and you're right above the insulation. You'll be able to score this insulation shield and free strip it. It's not bonded to the insulation. You're not fighting it in cold or hot weather. Kerite has this formula where it's just going to come right off and help you out there and save you time on each phase.
That is a very good point that you made. So for you, free stripping is ability of use, right? It is a faster use. And when you think about the climate itself, the weather, the people working in the field every day, it is easier to strip. That makes the process a little bit faster. And free stripping really also improves the workability of those linemen or splicemen in the field. Is that correct, Sean?
Yes, when I try to sell it, whoever asks me, I try to tell them it's going to save you time, and in turn, you'll be able to move on to the next manhole.
Fantastic. What about you, Matthew? What is free stripping?
Yeah, so free stripping, to reiterate what Sean says, is it's a non-bonded layer over your insulation that acts similarly to the competitor semiconducting insulation shield, but again, it's non-bonded, right? It freely strips from your insulation. There's no pulling. It is a zero strip force. It is a thermoplastic layer as opposed to the thermoset layer that you'll see with our competitors, meaning it does not go through the CV process, right? This allows our users to freely remove it and save time and money, right? Every second they're taking to strip something else, it costs money, right? So being able to strip this freely with zero strip force, it's going to save our end users a lot of money. From a design perspective, it is exactly the same as a thermoset insulation shield layer.
Can I talk to you about the workmanship? It reduces the errors, correct?
Right. So being able to strip it freely will reduce errors. There is less time and detail required to strip this, which will reduce possible nicks into the insulation. Thermoset insulation that is bonded to your insulation layer, when you peel that back, there's a possibility of small pieces of that insulation shield being left on the insulation, right? So that has to be sanded off. So there's a multitude of different factors that can reduce the errors when you go to a free stripping insulation shield. Being non-bonded, you're not going to see any of those little pieces of insulation shield on your insulation, right? There's no bonding occurring, so therefore none of that material is going to actually be left on that insulation. So when you remove our free stripping insulation shield, it is cleanly off the insulation. There's no sanding required. Very little cutting is required. You set your cutter to the specific thickness of that insulation shield, which is provided through our drawings and technical drawings, and you score it and you pull it right off. So there should be less errors, which result in better workmanship and less failures moving forward.
And that's categorized as thermoplastic, right?
Yes, thermoplastic as opposed to an industry standard thermoset, which you'll see with most of our competitors. Kerite is unique with the ability to provide a thermoplastic insulation shield. I don't want to get into too many technical details right now, but because we have a discharge-resistant insulation, we are allowed through industry standards such as ICEA to put on a thermoplastic insulation shield.
That's very good to know. One key topic hearing you talk about free stripping, a word that comes to mind is consistency, right? When you go into multiple different termination and splicing, you can remove the unpredictability of the process by choosing the free stripping insulation shield, because it makes a consistent strip process every time you go to strip a cable, if I understood correctly how you described it.
As Sean said earlier, different temperatures can affect how thermoset insulation shields strip. If it's colder, you're going to have a lot more difficulty getting that material off. So with a thermoplastic free stripping insulation, temperature is not going to impact your stripping capabilities.
What about you, Michael? What is free stripping for you?
So free stripping to me is a very, very special product. It is designed and manufactured to encapsulate the insulation without adhesion. When we get those samples in the lab, whether it's R&D, the rigorous qualification testing, or in our quality labs, our technicians prefer that because we can score it, prepare the samples for testing quickly. But even more importantly, when we're out meeting with customers and we get to speak with the splicers and the users of the product, they all love the thermoplastic insulation shield for the same reason. It's easier for them to just score it, pop it right off, a lot more consistent at different temperatures. Like Matthew alluded to, the thermoset can have some variation on strip force. And it takes advantage of the discharge resistant properties of the Kerite insulation. This is unique to Kerite.
That is a point that I want to get into more. Can you talk about why Kerite is unique and what makes us unique? Because when you talk about free stripping, does the ability of free stripping, is it unique to Kerite, and is it unique to Kerite? And can you talk to me about free stripping in relation to all those properties that make Kerite unique?
Sure, David. So again, earlier I mentioned that Kerite utilizes a discharge-resistant EPR. What this means is our EPR is completely immune to degradation due to partial discharge or corona discharge. Because of that, we can have a non-bonded insulation shield layer. For our competitors and the rest of the industry, they use what is known as a discharge-free insulation material. This has a maximum of 5 picocoulombs of partial discharge, right? So that's key there. Because we're completely immune to partial discharge, we're not concerned about any potential air gap between the insulation and insulation shield layer where partial discharge could occur, right? Our competitors, discharge-free, they would be very concerned with an air gap because they could potentially get more than 5 picocoulombs of partial discharge in that area, right? So that is why we are the only manufacturer that's able to use this thermoplastic free stripping insulation shield because they're concerned about an air gap there.
Matt, thanks. So what else adds to Kerite standing out? We're just honing in on insulation shield being non-bonded, easy to strip, and then the DR EPR. It's like our Coca-Cola brand. We're not going to tell anyone how we make it. It's what else stands out? Those are 2 layers.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. As you mentioned, these are proprietary materials. We do manufacture them in-house. Take a step back. There is another layer that is proprietary and is included in our Kerite material core, right? And that is the conductor shield layer. We call that PermaShield, right? It's a non-conducting layer compared to the industry standard semi-conducting. And that's kind of the first layer that helps with this whole Kerite system. So we have the PermaShield over the conductor, followed by our discharge-resistant insulation, followed by a free-stripping insulation shield. I'm going to let Mike discuss the manufacturing behind this and why, down the line, it becomes easier for the end user to use.
Yeah, so the Kerite insulation system is CV extruded like every other power cable in the industry. When we put on the conductor shield layer, it's a little bit unique that we do that in a single extruder, and then we're able to spark test and verify continuity of that layer because it is a non-conducting extrusion. And then we go ahead and we put the insulation on, and then those 2 layers are cured. After that, the thermoplastic insulation shield is extruded. Again, this is done in an offline process specifically to allow that material to encapsulate rather than bond, which allows it to have 0 adhesion in its final form.
And Mike, why? So the encapsulating properties of this, right? That is inherently what makes it so easy to strip. I mean, it's obviously not bonded, but is that property that allows it to be easier to be worked with in the field?
Yeah. So if with a thermoset material, it's applied at the time of insulation, and then those 2 materials cure together, which creates that bond. It's that offline process that allows this material to encapsulate, which allows the zero strip properties.
Isn't it huge that we have our PermaShield holding all the electromagnetic interference inside? It's non-conductive and it's holding all that in more so than another conductor shield. And that's why we can do the 100% spark test.
Yeah, so there's two pieces there, right? So the PermaShield layer is non-conductive, so it is suppressing those electric field lines, as you said, like not necessarily holding it in, right? We're not increasing stress anywhere. It is suppressing those electric field lines and decreasing stress as a whole. I'm not going to get into the super technical details of it, but basically our cable acts as a capacitor and shifts that stress directly into the insulation. I'm not going to get into the hyper details there. We are reducing the stress overall around the conductor and suppressing those lines. Also, because it is non-conductive, as Mike alluded to, we can 100% spark test that layer, right? That layer is extruded on before the insulation and insulation shield layers, and then it goes through a kV spark tester, which validates 100% coverage of that layer, right? We're the only ones in the industry that can do that, which is a great advantage. Making sure that that layer, that conductor shield, PermaShield layer is there, is so key for any power cable, because that is that stress reduction layer. Whether it's your typical semiconducting conductor shield that is equally distributing that stress and in turn reducing it or making it more even, or our non-conducting PermaShield, it is the stress reduction layer that's really key in that first protection against high stress and electrical degradation of the materials.
So now that we know why Kerite is special, we talked about the PermaShield, the DIEPR, and then also the insulation shield. All those three different components together, they make our Kerite power cable, and they are the reason why our cable is unique and different from other solutions currently in the industry. So one topic that I want to go back to is bad stripping or bad cable splicing. Michael, can you talk about field issues and what causes them? Can you talk about issues related to bad splicing and how that can affect the life of the cable long term?
And so, fortunately, I don't have a whole lot of first-hand experience with field failures. That's not something we get a big opportunity to explore. But being in the industry, the power cable industry, it's understood that when an issue occurs, it's generally at a splice or termination point, and it's not. It's not that like there's a workforce out there that's not trained well and they're doing a poor job, but if the product is difficult to work with, or if you really got to score your insulation shield down close to the insulation to remove it, or you really got to pull on it on a cold day, it's just more prone to causing a defect that's going to eventually explode, for lack of a better term. So when you have a product that's just easier to work with, you have less variation, right? So if it's low temperature, you don't have to score it as thick. It just lends itself to being a more robust option when you're performing a splice or a termination to prepare. You're just less likely to make a mistake.
And you're not working in a perfect environment either. These people are down in a hole, maybe standing on a plank. It's dirty. It's not always an opportune with two vices, cables right in front of you, is what I'm saying. It's a uncleanliness environment, and you're trying to keep it as clean as possible with debris and dirt. You're working with gloves.
So one more topic that I want to add is around the quantifiable benefits of free stripping, right? Utilities, they care about savings, but it's important that we are able to quantify those savings. We have run experiment to compare and see how much time can Kerite free stripping solution actually save. And in certain cases, it can save up to 50% of the time to strip the cable itself. So, and that is something that can easily be quantifiable, right? If you look at that time that you save and then multiply by the total cost per hour that you spend for the field personnel to be out there, and then you multiply that by, let's say, 1,000 feet length of cable, and how many times a splice is made during that run, you can clearly quantify how much money this solution can save, correct?
Yeah, I would agree with that, David. I mean, and the thermoplastic free shipping material is no more expensive than its competition, your typical semiconducting thermoset layer. So it's pure savings.
Gives you with that peace of mind too. You didn't work to get something off. If it comes off freely, gives you that peace of mind to move on to the next one that you did it correctly. You're not working, picking at it.
Fantastic. We talked about potential failure and inconsistency of stripping if you're not using thermoplastic. We talked about the benefits and how the utility can actually quantify. Is there really anything else that we feel like we need to bring up?
Lifetime warranty.
It's a great one, Sean. Kerite boasts a lifetime warranty of the installation for their products, right? And that includes with the free stripping thermoplastic insulation shield.
Dr. Shield, we do the 100% 2 kV DC test, and it moves on from there. The discharge resistant EPR, being immune to partial discharge being thought of as the main cause of water treeing and electrical treeing in insulation, which is thought to be the main cause of electrical breakdowns inside of a cable. We are completely immune from that. So those two pieces, along with the increased workmanship-friendly aspects of the free stripping insulation shield, making the terminations cleaner, just all in all, your circuit is going to be more robust, and which is why we supply it with a lifetime warranty of the installation. And a regular cable is 40 years, right? Say?
Yeah, we see typically from the rest of the industry being about 40 years.
So what I say back to my customers who say, hey, I'm not going to be here in 40 years. Why do I need the lifetime warranty? I tell them, well, there's still lead cable in the ground that's running 60, 70 years. That was a well-made 3-conductor cable that they put in the ground. Why not put the Kerite cable in the ground and not touch it for 80 years?
Yes, and that goes also back to some of the key initiatives that some utilities currently have, right? When you think about grid resiliency, grid hardening, you want to put a product that you know will not fail. And Kerite's big 3 unique features in a way guarantees you that your product is going to last for a lifetime, and we can back that up with a lifetime warranty.
I'm going to tee this up for you engineers too. Tell me if I'm wrong. The LLDPE jacket is good for UV resistance and direct buried, while the PVC will take on the heat and typically comes with a tape shield. Both jacket types or metallic shield types can have the EPR core, the Kerite core system in it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I could let Mike discuss this, but there's nothing limiting what type of shield or jacket you put over the Kerite insulation system.
And can you talk also from a technical point of view, what type of supports utility can expect from us as far as getting educated on the free stripping solution?
Yeah, so we routinely work with customers to design to application. We work with standard engineers to ensure that their standards cover Kerite product, review their standards in their entirety, make recommendations on the best product that suits their application and what they're trying to do with it.
In the plant, Michael, are we trying to reduce the EPR in some cases too? I brought up lead. If we're trying to not take out old infrastructure or old conduit pipe in like an urban setting, we can offer a reduced wall, like a lower profile EPR.
Yeah, so there is an ICEA 684 performance standard that allows you to qualify a reduced wall product. And from testing and qualification work that we've done so far, the Kerite insulation system is well suited for reduced wall applications. And
so we're not conceding any of those 3 core layers. It's still PermaShield, it's still DR EPR, just skinnier with thickness level being smaller.
Yeah, exactly. So the existing Kerite insulation system materials are well suited for reduced wall applications.
And what type of applications can Kerite really reduced wall go into it? Can you talk a little bit about those applications?
Yeah, so first and foremost, what comes to mind is PILC replacement system. So there's existing PILC. The footprint of that PILC cable is smaller than a conventional URD cable. And so if you want to use that existing duct structure to pull the PILC cable out and then replace it, you'd be looking at a reduced wall system to fit in that space. But even if it's not PILC replacement, if it's a new install, but there's a conduit restriction of some kind, or in an urban space where there's existing conduits, but it's a new undergrounding system, reduced wall could fit into those spaces.
That's good to know. With the PermaShield, the DIEPR, and the thermoplastic insulation shield, sounds like Kerite can be used in variety of application. In application where utility have challenges that at times can be unique, but with the Kerite three unique features, we are able to find very innovative solutions that can fit any problem that utility might have today. And PILC cable replacement is one of those applications, and also application where there are restrictions, like Michael said. Those are very good example of how this solution can offset and solve some of the industry's problems that current utilities are facing today. So any last thoughts on free stripping in general? Anything that you would like to add on how free stripping can help ease some problems and concerns utilities have today?
One major thing is just if you're in a cold area, the free stripping is going to be your friend, right? Just that ease of stripping, you make the linemen and splicers, terminators' lives so much easier. We have heard time and time again from firsthand use that they love the cable, they love Kerite cable because of the free stripping insulation shield.
David, we can also throw Kerite cable into conduit. In our plant, we have the possibility to put cable in conduit, CIC. The quality control is there, and Mike can talk to that. There's no dust, water getting into this conduit sitting outside in the yard. We extrude our own pipe and put our cable into it. So if you want that lifetime warranty even extended to 2 lives, you get some Kerite cable and CIC.
Also, one thing that I want to add is also the advantage of working with the Kerite cable in very tight space. Not only does the free stripping makes it easy and quicker to work with, it is easier to bend and to maneuver in areas where there is not much space to work with. Anything to add, Michael?
I was going to mention the same thing, that in a tight space, in a manhole environment, you don't have as much room to work. We've found that the free stripping insulation shield has been preferred by users in those spaces.
Fantastic. So Matthew brought up the fact that in cold weather, in cold conditions, free stripping is your best solution because it reduces the time that the linesmen or the underground workers are exposed to cold weather, right? So that doesn't only save the utility money, but it also improves the workability and the environment for the linesmen as they get exposed less to those harsh environment, and they are able to make splicing faster, in a way also saving the utility sometime and improving the working environment for those linemen.
Yeah, and it's not just for the splicers, David. You know, the materials itself will be easier to strip. So it is well known that in warmer environments, thermoset insulation shields, non-free stripping, if you will, become easier to strip in warmer environments and therefore are much more difficult to strip in cold environments, right? So it's not just protecting the individual, the human aspect, it's also the material aspect. Yeah. So a free stripping insulation shield will be that much easier to strip in a cold environment. And not just cold environments, but also tight spaces, right? So all different type of environmental aspects, the Kerite product is the superior choice. Tight spaces, our EPR has been anecdotally told to us that it is more bendable, right? It is easier to bend. It also has a great water resistance, so you can put it in lake beds, water crossings, what have you. There's no concerns of water with our material. Pretty much any environmental constraint that you may have, the Kerite product can combat it.
In addition to the easy use in the tight manhole spaces and work environments, the advantage when installing in ambient conditions, whether you're in Alaska, Florida, New Hampshire, California, you get that zero strip every time. The ambient temperature does not impact the strip force.
So if you don't have strip force, what is strip force? If you have strip force existing, what are people battling with? Like 11 pounds, 15 pounds?
Yeah, so for discharge-free cable designs, it's a minimum strip force of 3 pounds and a maximum of 24. And while 3 pounds seems delicate and nice to remove, it is, but that maximum of 24 exists because there's no way to avoid it with your ambient conditions. So Pulling off 24 pounds of a plastic strip, it's not easy.
You're doing that on the tip of needle nose pliers or...
Yeah, and then to try to make it easier, right, you want to score it a little bit deeper. So you're trying to pull off this thermoset material that's bonded to the insulation layer. It's bonded to itself. You got to pull it off in strips. The strips may break.
And you're not in an opportune environment, like I was saying before. You have cable arms in your way. You have water in your manhole. You can't see around the back side of your cable.
And you're not doing it once.
Yeah, at least 6 times.
Thank you so much, each one of you, for joining me today and talk about our free stripping insulation shield. If you had to describe free stripping insulation shield in your world, how would you describe it with one liner?
It's meant for real world, right? Kerite's designed for real world applications.
John?
The impervious design to water, the water tring, electrical tring, that's huge.
So it's specifically designed to be workmanship friendly, right? There's no other performance advantage. The reason that we offer the free strip insulation shield is specifically because it is easier to work with. It's designed for workmanship friendliness.
Fantastic. And I'm going to end it by saying that Kerite is engineered for easy and built for trust. So thanks to all of you for joining me today and for helping us look deeper into what makes free stripping more than just a convenience. It's a reflection of Kerite's whole approach to product excellence. We design with field in mind, partner with our customer to meet long-term needs, and build in performance features like discharge resistance. So our customers work as hard, as smart as the people installing them. So thank you so much for tuning into this Power Talk. To learn more about Kerite and Hendrix underground power cable, please visit marmonutility.com or connect with us on LinkedIn. We will see you on our next episode.